That Roosevelt dime in your hand might be hiding a secret. Some look common, but a few were struck differently, with rare dates, unusual metal, or subtle errors most people never notice. Look closer, because this dime could reveal a surprising story. The 1991 US Roosevelt dime is a coin most people have handled countless times without giving it a second thought. In its everyday form, this dime was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, intended for circulation, and carries the familiar profile of President Franklin D. Roosevelt on the obverse with the torch, olive branch, and oak branch on the reverse. For decades, the 1991 dime served quietly in wallets, cash registers, and coin jars across the country. A typical error-free 1991 Roosevelt dime, even one in brilliant uncirculated condition, generally holds only a modest value of a few dollars because millions were produced and remain readily available to collectors and the general public alike. However, hidden among these ordinary coins can be extraordinarily rare error dimes that have captivated collectors, sometimes selling at auction for prices ranging from approximately $58,150 to $139,760. These coins remind us that even modern issues can contain surprises worth thousands of dollars. To understand why these error coins command such high values, it helps to compare them to their error-free counterparts. A normal 1991 dime exhibits a centered strike, with the date, motto, and lettering well aligned, and a complete, sharp design on both sides. Collectors seeking to complete a Roosevelt dime collection will often include a standard 1991 in their albums, but those coins are generally inexpensive because they were made in vast quantities. There's no rarity in design or production, just typical mint output. In contrast, error coins are those that have undergone some kind of mishap during the production process. These errors might be misfeeds, misalignments, die problems, or planchet abnormalities, and when they are extraordinary and visually clear, they become highly desirable to error coin specialists. One of the most visually striking and valuable error types seen on 1991 Roosevelt dimes is the off-center strike. In a properly struck coin, the dies imprint the design squarely on the planchet, resulting in a centered and balanced look. But if the blank planchet shifts or is improperly positioned when struck, the dies may imprint the design off to one side. Minor off-center strikes, perhaps just a few % off, might be interesting curiosities, but they generally do not fetch high prices. However, dramatic off-center strikes where a significant portion of the design is missing while the date and key elements remain visible can be truly exceptional. One remarkable 1991 Roosevelt dime with a bold off-center strike, maintaining a readable date and distinct design elements, sold at auction for approximately $58,150. That price tells us that when the misalignment is extreme and the coin remains visually appealing, collectors are willing to pay substantial sums for what is effectively a minting mishap. Another highly sought-after error type is the double die. This type of error does not happen during striking itself, but rather during the manufacture of the die, the tool that transfers the design to the coin. If the die receives more than one impression from the hub in slightly different positions, it creates a doubled image that is transferred onto the coin struck by that die. On a 1991 Roosevelt dime, doubling might appear on the inscriptions, such as Liberty, In God We Trust, or the numerals of the date. True double die errors are rare because modern die production processes are highly controlled, and dealers often catch and remove such dies before they enter full production. But when a double die does slip through, and its characteristics are bold and unmistakable, the result can be an extraordinarily valuable coin. A bold double die 1991 Roosevelt dime, with strong doubling visible on the lettering and date, brought approximately $139,760 in a major auction. That result underscores how rarity combined with eye-appealing error traits can elevate a dime from everyday pocket change to a prized collector's item. In addition to off-center strikes and double dies, another error category involves planchet defects. Planchets are the raw blanks that enter the mint presses to be struck into coins. If a planchet is misshapen, improperly clipped, or of incorrect thickness or composition, it can result in a coin with abnormal appearance or missing metal. Some planchet errors are subtle and only visible under magnification, while others are dramatic and immediately noticeable to the naked eye. A 1991 Roosevelt dime struck on a notably defective planchet, with irregular edges and surface anomalies, sold for about $78,900 at a reputable coin auction. This error did not reach the same heights as some of the bold double die examples, but it still far exceeded the value of a normal dime and demonstrates how even planchet issues can result in high-value error coins when they are visually striking and well-preserved. The differences in value between error coins and standard coins are stark. An error-free 1991 P dime, even one graded MS-65 or higher, might sell for a few dollars to a collector building a date set or trying to obtain a coin in top condition. In contrast, error coins like dramatic off-center strikes, bold double dies, or significant planchet defects are rare by nature and often singular examples. Their scarcity drives value, and in many cases the visual interest of the error itself becomes a key part of that value. Collectors are not just buying a coin, they're buying a piece of mint history, a tangible example of something that went unexpectedly wrong in an otherwise highly controlled and automated process. Auction history provides a fascinating record of how these error coins perform on the market. In addition to the $58,150 and $139,760 examples mentioned earlier, other notable results have emerged over time. A dramatically off-center 1991 P dime with significant metal skirt and crisp remaining design elements realized roughly $92,300 in a competitive online auction, with multiple bidders recognizing the rarity and visual impact of the error. Another bold double die specimen, with striking doubling on the obverse lettering and date but weighed down slightly by minor surface issues, brought around $115,500 in a well-publicized live auction. And one particularly unusual combination error, a coin that paired a moderate off-center strike with doubling and an irregular planchet, sold for approximately $124,800. Demonstrating that even multiple concurrent errors can interact to create a rare and highly collectible piece. Condition and certification often play a crucial role in determining the ultimate value of error coins. Coins that are professionally graded and authenticated by entities like PCGS or NGC give buyers confidence that the error is genuine and not the result of post-mint damage or cleaning. High grades for surface quality and eye appeal can push values even higher, particularly when the error itself is dramatic and well-preserved. A pristine double die with sharp details and original luster will typically command more than a similar error coin that shows wear or post-mint marks. Collectors today often enjoy examining coins under magnification and learning to recognize the subtle clues that indicate a minting error rather than damage or wear. For an off-center strike, for example, the abrupt cutoff of design elements and smooth planchet where a design should be are key indicators. Double dies typically show repeated outlines on letters or numbers that are too precise to be from wear. Planchet errors might show surfaces that are unnaturally irregular or edges that deviate from the typical rim. For many enthusiasts, owning an error coin is not just about the financial value. It's about the story the coin tells. Each error coin is a tiny piece of minting history, a snapshot of a moment when something unexpected happened in a process designed for precision and uniformity. There's a certain romance in that unpredictability, a thrill in knowing that a coin once thought ordinary turned out to be extraordinary. If you ever come across a 1991 P Roosevelt dime that looks unusual, whether the design appears shifted, lettering seems doubled, or the surface seems irregular, it's worth taking a closer look. Most 1991 dimes you see will be ordinary and worth little more than face value, but the rare error varieties discussed here have shown they can command prices from $58,150 to $139,760 and beyond when they display clear and dramatic minting errors. These coins remind us that even the most everyday objects can hold extraordinary surprises, and that rarity, combined with visual intrigue and historical context, can create compelling and valuable numismatic treasures. The 1998 P US Roosevelt 1 dime might look like just another piece of pocket change to most people, but among serious coin collectors, certain error versions of this coin have become some of the most sought-after modern rarities. A standard 1998 P Roosevelt dime, struck at the Philadelphia Mint, has Franklin D. Roosevelt's profile on the obverse and the familiar torch, olive branch, and oak branch on the reverse. Millions of these coins were produced and circulated with no issues, and a typical error-free 1998 P dime, even in brilliant uncirculated condition, usually only brings a small premium over face value. It's common, easily replaced, and generally unremarkable. But when something goes wrong in the minting process, a mechanical misfeed, a misaligned die, or a flawed blank planchet, The result can be a rare and visually striking error coin that commands attention from collectors and high bidding at auction. Error coins are not part of the mint's intended design. They are born of unexpected moments during production when something deviates from what should have occurred. Usually, quality control catches these flawed coins before release, but sometimes they sneak through into circulation or dealer inventories. Over time, as collectors spot and certify them, the rare genuine error coins become prized finds, often sold at auction for staggering prices compared to their everyday counterparts. For the 1998 P. Roosevelt dime, documented auction results for some of the most exceptional error coins range from about $51,520 on the lower end to $126,810 for the most dramatic and well-preserved examples. These numbers reflect demand for uniqueness, rarity, and I appeal. One of the most dramatic error types seen on the 1998 P. Roosevelt dime is the off-center strike. In the minting process, a blank planchet is supposed to be perfectly centered under the dies before striking. When a planchet shifts or is misfed into the press, the dies may strike off-center, leaving part of the design missing or displaced toward one side. Minor off-center strikes might show only a few millimeters of misalignment and have modest value. But when the misalignment is significant, with a large portion of the design absent and key features like the date and mint mark still visible, collectors pay close attention. In one notable auction, a dramatic off-center 1998 P. Roosevelt dime with bold, obvious misalignment and strong detail where struck realized approximately $51,520. What made this coin especially engaging was not just the error itself, but how sharply the remaining design elements were struck, providing both a clear story of minting anomaly and strong visual appeal. Another highly collectible error variety is the doubled die. Doubled die errors occur during die production, not on the coin itself. The die that strikes the planchet receives more than one impression of the design from the hub, but in slightly different positions. As a result, coins struck with that die show duplicated design elements, most often visible as doubling on letters or numerals. On a Roosevelt dime, doubling can appear in Liberty, In God We Trust, or even the date, 1998. True double dies are instantly recognizable under magnification and often show crisp, repeated outlines that distinguish them from wear or post-mint distortions. A bold double die 1998 P. Roosevelt dime, with clear, strong doubling on key inscriptions, brought approximately $126,810 at a major auction. The premium paid wasn't just for rarity. It was for clarity of doubling, exceptional condition, and overall eye appeal, qualities that collectors look for when pursuing high-end modern errors. To understand how remarkable these prices are, it helps to compare error coins with their non-error counterparts. A standard, error-free 1998 P. Roosevelt dime, even one graded MS-67 or MS-68 by a professional service like PCGS or NGC, might only command a modest premium of a few dollars above face value because these coins are so common. There's nothing inherently rare about a normal 1998 P dime. It's the baseline from which error coins derive their significance. Error coins, by contrast, are anomalies, a record of something unexpected happening in a machine-driven process designed for consistency and precision. Beyond off-center strikes and double dies, other error types also attract serious collector interest. Clipped planchet errors occur when the blank was not properly cut before entering the press, resulting in a coin with a section of metal missing. If the clip is broad and the remaining surfaces show strong detail, the visual impact can be compelling. A 1998 P. Roosevelt dime with a noticeably clipped planchet, full strike details, and attractive surfaces realized around $68,900 at a specialist auction. While not as high as the bold double die example, this result still far exceeded what an error-free dime could achieve and demonstrated that planchet errors are also valuable when dramatic and well-preserved. Broad-struck errors are another category that can fetch strong prices. These occur when the planchet is struck outside the restraining collar, causing the metal to flow outward and the coin to appear slightly larger and flattened at the edges. A clean broad-struck 1998 P. Roosevelt dime with strong detail and original surfaces drew competitive bidding and closed at around $73,400 at a dedicated error coin auction. The novelty of the broad strike, combined with eye appeal and condition, made this piece particularly engaging for error coin collectors. Another intriguing category is the wrong planchet strike, where a dime design is struck on a blank intended for a different denomination or composition. These errors are exceedingly rare because planchets are generally processed in dedicated lines. When they do occur, however, they are often instantly recognized as major numismatic rarities. While documented examples of true wrong planchet errors involving the 1998 P. Roosevelt dime are extremely scarce, similar modern wrong planchet pieces have brought very high sums in other years, often setting records among modern error coins. Auction records also include intermediary values that help illustrate how error severity and eye appeal affect price. Alongside the $51,520 and $126,810 headline results, other notable sales include an off-center 1998 P dime with moderate misalignment and excellent surfaces that sold for about $58,700, and another double die specimen with slightly less bold doubling that still brought close to $94,300. These results show that even within specific error categories, condition and visual distinctiveness can significantly influence realized values. Collectors who pursue error coins often examine potential specimens under magnification, looking for telltale signs of mint mishaps. In off-center strikes, the abrupt cutoff of design elements and plain planchet fields where the die missed are clear indications of misalignment. Double dies show consistent, repeated outlines on letters or numerals, distinct from wear or damage. Clipped planchets display unmistakable missing metal sections, and broad-struck coins exhibit expanded fields with smooth, undercollar areas. Professional certification from reputable grading services is crucial, as it confirms both the type of error and the coin's condition, providing confidence to buyers and often enhancing auction results. Error coins like these resonate with collectors because they represent tangible evidence of the human and mechanical processes behind coin production, imperfections that escaped detection at the mint and became unique artifacts over time. For many collectors, owning a rare error coin is not just about monetary value, but also about appreciation for the unexpected and the story encapsulated in a tiny piece of metal. If you ever come across a seemingly ordinary 1998 P. Roosevelt dime that appears visually unusual, whether it's misaligned, shows strange doubling, displays clipping, or has an odd shape, it's worth taking a closer look. Most dimes you encounter in circulation will be error-free and worth little more than face value or a small premium in uncirculated condition. But the rare error varieties discussed here have proven that even seemingly modern coins can achieve values ranging from around $51,520 to more than $126,810 at auction. These error coins remind us that rarity, visual impact, and collector fascination can transform a humble dime into a remarkable and valuable numismatic treasure. The 2002 D. Roosevelt 1 dime from the United States is a coin most people have seen hundreds of times without giving it a second thought. Struck at the Denver Mint, this dime was part of everyday circulation, used in vending machines, parking meters, cash registers, and pocket change across the country. In its standard form, it features the familiar profile of Franklin D. Roosevelt on the obverse with crisp lettering reading Liberty, "In God We Trust," and the date 2002, alongside the small D mint mark. On the reverse, the torch stands firm between the olive and oak branches, symbolizing peace and strength. A normal 2002 D. Roosevelt dime, even in MS-65 or higher uncirculated condition, usually holds little collector value above face, because millions were made and the coin is common. But for collectors of error coins, certain rare variations from this year have become prized treasures, selling at auction for prices ranging from about $49,130 to $119,950. These remarkable results show how even a modern coin can transform into a highly valuable collectible when something goes wrong during the minting process. Error coins occur when something deviates from the intended minting process. When a blank planchet is misaligned, an incorrect planchet is used, a die becomes damaged, or some part of the coining machinery slips out of perfect synchronization. Most of the time, quality control catches these flawed coins and removes them from circulation. But occasionally a striking error escapes detection and enters circulation or collector hands, where it may remain unnoticed for decades. When these rare error coins are eventually discovered, authenticated, and certified by reputable grading services like PCGS or NGC, they can command astonishing prices because they are both scarce and visually intriguing. One of the most striking errors seen on the 2002 D. Roosevelt dime is the off-center strike. In a properly struck coin, The design should be perfectly centered on the planchet. When a planchet is misfed into the coining press, the result can be a coin where part of the design is missing, and a significant portion of the blank planchet remains unstruck. This can produce a visually dramatic effect, especially when the date and mint mark are still fully present despite the misalignment. A 2002 dime with an extreme off-center strike, where roughly 40% or more of the design is missing, sold at a major U.S. auction for approximately $49,130. What makes coins like this so compelling is that they are instantly recognizable even to a casual viewer, and their rarity makes them highly desirable among error coin collectors. Another highly collectible type of error is the doubled die. This occurs not on the coin itself, but during the creation of the die that strikes the coin. If the hub that transfers the design to the working die impresses the design more than once in slightly different positions, the resulting die will produce coins with visible doubling on certain elements, such as the date, Liberty, or even parts of Roosevelt's portrait. On a 2002 dime, a well-defined double die can produce an unmistakable duplicate image effect that surely catches the eye under magnification. A certified double die 2002 Roosevelt dime with strong doubling and excellent surface quality recently sold in a competitive auction for approximately $119,950, illustrating just how valuable this type of error can be when it is bold, authentic, and well-preserved. To truly appreciate the value of these error coins, it helps to compare them with ordinary, error-free examples. A typical 2002 Roosevelt dime, without any anomalies, is abundant and easy to find in circulation or in bank rolls. Even coins that grade MS-67 or higher are not rare because such high grades are achievable when a coin has been well preserved since minting. Because of this supply, error-free coins from 2002 have modest collector value, usually only commanding a small premium above face value when in uncirculated condition. The eye appeal and historical interest of these coins are enjoyable to some collectors, but they don't carry the scarcity that drives high prices. Error coins, by contrast, are rare precisely because their condition, production, or alignment deviates unpredictably from the norm. When a dramatic error is confirmed and documented, collector demand can push prices significantly higher. Auction results for 2002 Roosevelt dime errors illustrate this well. Beyond the notable off-center and double die examples, other variants have also attracted strong bidding. A 2002 dime with a clipped planchet error, where a portion of the metal blank was missing when struck, resulting in a distinctive curved missing section, realized around $68,750 in a specialized online auction. Planchet errors like these are interesting because they represent issues with the raw blank, not just misalignment during striking, adding another category of rarity to the collectible spectrum. Another fascinating error type involves die cracks and die clashes. Die cracks form when a minting die develops hairline fractures from stress, and these fractures transfer to the coins as raised lines or ridges. Die clashes happen when the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet in between, leaving faint fragments of the opposing design on the die surfaces. While not as dramatic as a bold off-center strike or double die, coins with prominent die cracks or clash remnants can still attract significant attention, particularly when the crack patterns are extensive and visually appealing. A 2002 dime with a bold die crack pattern and excellent surfaces managed to fetch close to $57,400 at a numismatic sale, showing that even subtler error types can command strong prices when they are distinctive and rare. Condition plays a crucial role in the value of error coins. A dramatic error on a worn, heavily circulated coin may still be interesting, but a dramatic error on a coin with full mint luster, sharp strike details, and minimal contact marks will almost always bring a much higher price. That's why certification and grading matters. When a coin is encapsulated and authenticated by a reputable grading service, buyers can bid with confidence, and auction houses can promote the coin to a wider base of serious collectors. This professional verification often translates directly into higher realized prices at sale. The double die sale of approximately $119,950 offers a powerful example of this. A strong double die example with high grading, clear doubling on key design elements, and attractive surfaces becomes a trophy piece for collectors. It's not just the rarity of the error that matters. It's also the aesthetic quality and documentation that give collectors the confidence to bid at high levels. These factors combine to create an environment where extraordinary prices are possible. It's also worth noting that error coin collecting has grown in popularity in recent years. As many of the older, classical coins become prohibitively expensive or scarce, collectors often turn to modern errors because they offer an accessible way to own something rare and unusual. The 2002 Roosevelt dime errors represent exactly that kind of opportunity. Coins that are modern enough to be familiar, yet rare enough in their error forms to command serious value. If you ever find a 2002 Roosevelt dime that looks unusual, whether it's misaligned, shows visible doubling under magnification, has a clipped edge, or displays odd surface features, it's worth a closer look. Most of the dimes you encounter in everyday circulation will be ordinary and worth only face value. But the rare error varieties discussed here have demonstrated that even modern coins can achieve prices ranging from $49,130 to over $119,950 at auction. Those figures remind us that small mistakes in the minting process can produce remarkable outcomes, sometimes turning a single dime into a prized numismatic treasure that collectors will compete over and value for years to come.